I would say you're getting really fired up about a list that you haven't freaking seen yet.
Doesn't matter.
Sure it does.
Picking away the moments that make up a dull day. You fritter and waste the hours in an offhand way. As you listen to episode number 150 of the Promo UPFront Podcast. Did I make you wince a little bit there with my singing, Kirby?
That was amazing.
I think I did. I know it was not. But hey, here we are, episode number 150. I am one of your hosts, Bill Petrie. With me, as always, let's call him the Terminator of Taco Tuesday, the one and only Kirby Hasseman. Kirby! Happy 150, buddy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. We talked a little bit about this last week. That sometimes those numbers kind of catch you off guard, and this was one that I was like, we just kind of show up every week, I think, and every once in a while you go, oh wow, that's kind of cool that we've hit episode 150. So congrats, man. I'm doing well over here. How are you, bud?
I'm doing great. Congrats to you as well. Exciting that we've hit the Sasquatch sensational of the 150, as I always like to say. But as we've done a lot of these podcasts, so I kind of reflected back a little bit, and it got me to thinking, Kirby, there's a question I'm not sure I've ever asked you on this podcast. So if you don't mind me asking something, I think I don't want to speak for both of our other listeners, but I'd certainly like to know.
I'll brace
Kirby,
for impact.
please do brace. Are you looking for completely kick-ass branded merchandise?
I think yes. As a matter of fact, I hope my clients are too.
Oh, well, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the type of merchandise that elicits that wow and aha we love to get from clients, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you don't need to look any further than our pals over at 7 Sourcing. That's right, because they are experts in the field. They work with distributors just like you, Kirby, to help them source custom orders direct from fully vetted overseas factories. Nice. And without the hassle of having to deal with that factory, right? I mean, you have an expert right there to do it for you. 7 Sourcing has a very strong pedigree when it comes to navigating direct custom merch sourcing, as their team has over a quarter century. Now, for those of you who are math challenged, that's 25 years. So over a quarter century of successful importing experience. And even better, Kirby, I got more, even better. If that weren't good enough, and for episode 150, we know it is, but if that weren't good enough, even better, they work directly with each distributor on brand strategy, product development, product sourcing, order management, quality control, compliance, and logistics. There's a lot that goes into any sort of custom overseas ordering. So in other words, they really demystify that direct custom sourcing. And while they source merchandise at the lowest possible cost, they don't ever sacrifice quality or safety to meet the price points. 7 Sourcing isn't interested in meeting expectations. They only strive to exceed them. Now, Kirby, this is a tremendous opportunity for distributors to wow their clients with fully custom merchandise, isn't it?
It really is. And so one of the things that you talked about there, Bill, is the idea of working with a partner who understands all the ins and outs of overseas outsourcing. And I'll be the first to say, like, I know that there are some people who are like, oh, I could just do it myself. Oh my, I have no interest in doing that. I don't trust myself. I don't know what I don't know. And so having a partner like 7 Sourcing is just incredibly valuable.
100%. This is not like watching a YouTube video to fix a leaky faucet, kids. Yeah, it helps to have an expert and one that's got so much experience in the field. And so I couldn't agree any more, Kirby, with what you said. Yeah, it takes a little bit longer. Of course it does for custom merchandise. Sure. Maybe about 75 days or so. But isn't that extra planning worth it to get that wow moment? Kirby and I sure as hell think so. So, hey, when you're ready to move away from off-the-shelf solutions to off-the-wall really cool products, reach out to 7 Sourcing at sales@7, that's spelled out 7, SEVEN, sales at 7sourcing.com. You're not going to be sorry you did. Now, Kirby, this is episode number 150. It's amazing. We've been doing this podcast on some level or other. We did 206 episodes of another one. This is 150. That's like 7 years of podcasting.
It's a long time.
You'd think we'd run out of things to say, and yet we haven't. And here's something I'd like to start off with, Kirby. So
Okay.
I have a little bit of a rant here. I'm a little angry and a little irritated,
Okay.
which probably fits in well with our episode 150 because I do get hot under the promo collar from time to time.
Okay.
So PPAI is set to unveil their first ever ranking of industry leading companies at the North American Leadership Conference, or NALC. Now it's called the PPAI 100. It's going to be 50 exemplary distributors and 50 exemplary suppliers. Now, what they have said is that it's fully, quote, fully backed by research. PPAI 100 will not only track the previous year's sales for ranking companies, but weigh many additional factors relevant to corporate leadership. So revenue is a key aspect, but they're going to look at other things too: business growth over time, corporate social responsibility, technology practices, so innovation via digital transformation, workforce strength, so that's professional development, but only PPAI certified. Employee happiness, that's, you know, if you're part of the top places to work, also done by PPAI. And industry faith, something called industry faith, and I went and researched that, and that is basically your SAGE rating if you're a supplier. So they say the rankings are going to be unveiled at NALC, and they will dive deep into the data supporting the rankings. Sorry, not rankies, rankings. So they've solicited industry feedback among the likely top 50. They've sent surveys, they've held internal debates, and they've tried to come up with tangible metrics that encapsulate the most admirable traits of a leading company in the industry. I have some really targeted thoughts on this. If you'd like me to go, I will, but I would welcome yours as well if you'd like to go first.
No, I think you've got yourself queued up because I actually am interested in this. I think we might actually be up for a little bit of a debate, and so I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
All right. So I know you love industry lists like this. This is something you enjoy. And we talked actually last week, which actually tees up this conversation nicely. I like industry lists where they're not ranked, especially when it's subjective. So a list of the top places to work, I think that's great. They're not ranked, they're listed alphabetically. I think that's fabulous. I don't like ranked lists unless it's just based on hard data like sales. This is supposedly not. It's taking into a lot of other factors, which I do like, but why rank them? What is saying one is better than another do? And so a couple things. One, this feels like a really obvious and really cheap ripoff of what ASI has been doing for years with the top 40 suppliers and top 40 distributors. It feels extraordinarily derivative to me.
I think what you mean, just real quick, I think what you mean is the Power 50 though, right? That's what.
No, I mean the top four, both. Yes, it's like a combined. Power 50. It seems like it's a Power 50 combined with top 40, top 40 distributors. I don't know. It just feels very derivative. Period. And I mean, and outside of revenue and growth, the other data points feel super foggy to me. And I don't love that. And I'll be curious to see them. So, you know, once again, now I get on my service provider rant. Once again, service providers are off this list. And if you look at the companies that push this industry forward in a consistent way, it is service providers. It has been service providers. And for the foreseeable future, it's going to be service providers. Yes, there are outlying companies on both the supplier side and distributor side that do push the industry forward, but it's things like commonsku, it's things like what Jason Noakes has done at Promo Pulse, and things like that that really move this industry forward. And so I hate that service providers aren't included. And man, does this feel like clickbait for people like you who love these lists? I just want to see how people are ranked. And I think the biggest challenge I've got here, Kirby, is so much is based on the size of the organization. It seems like bigger is not always better. Better is better. And I don't love that at all. So I'd rather see a list of people and organizations who are propelling this industry forward, not ranked, just a list of organizations that are helping the industry grow, helping the industry look forward, helping the industry with technology, so on and so forth. Something, you know, a concrete list that shares the why behind this listing I'd like to see. So, you know, honestly, it feels like we're going back to the days where PPAI and ASI are at odds. And that's what this feels like as well. So I am not a fan of this list. I don't care about it. I'd like to see the data points behind it, but honestly, I just don't care.
Okay. So this is you've given this a lot of thought, and so I wanted to give you give you the give you the floor to talk about. So okay, um,
Is this where
so
you tell me I'm wrong?
well, I'm going to give you my perspective, and you can decide if
Yeah,
I'm telling you you're wrong or not. Number
okay.
one, I would say you're getting really fired up about a list that you haven't freaking seen yet.
Doesn't matter.
Sure, it does.
No.
When you see the list, it might make more sense. You might be like, oh, okay, I see why are they where they. Yes, I see how revenue came in. Yes, I see how this is. Like again, I can't argue on the specifics of the list because I haven't seen the list.
That's the genius of my argument.
Yeah.
You can't argue with it.
Except that my point is you're criticizing a list you haven't seen yet.
That's right.
Now that so the other thing is I do enjoy lists like this, but I think, and in the interest of some transparency, I Josh Ellis was on Delivering Marketing Joy to kind of promote this, and so I did at least have a little bit of a conversation about this, and he talked about the idea of making it a little bit different than some of those other lists, and using factors that weren't just revenue. So I understand where you're coming from, where you say, look, man, if you say, hey, this is the biggest distributor or the biggest supplier, and it is on completely quantifiable data, yeah, I mean, but on the other hand, it's like that's a pretty short conversation too, right? If one of the things that media's job is to report facts, great. Unfortunately, I would say, fortunately or fortunately, that's not all media's job is right now. It is to spur discussion and debate. And so I think the idea of utilizing the revenue as a part of it, but also factoring in some of these other factors, I think it's an interesting discussion. So I do like lists, so you're right about that. B, I think that having something that has a little bit more layers than just the quantifiable numbers actually does interest me. And again, just like the online 18, the like to give me the justification, give me the thought process, and I'm just kind of I don't always agree with it, but I like the concept of seeing what people's perspective. And then my third point is just we haven't seen it yet, so I can't get fired up whether I like it or not if I haven't seen it.
Well, here's where I'll push back a little bit,
Yeah, sure.
and I'm offended by your offense. Here's where I'll push back because there are, first of all, let me be clear. I like Josh Ellis a lot. I
Yeah,
like
the
the
whole team
media
there. Yeah,
department at PPAI. This is
yeah,
not a shot at anybody.
yeah,
It's just I don't care for this type of list
yeah.
because I'm sorry, almost every key indicator on this list is based on something that PPAI does.
Sure.
It's based on best places to work. It's based on Sage ratings, which PPAI has a partnership
Yeah,
with. So you're excluding a whole set of data points on this
sure.
that are connected to ASI. That to me is very short-sighted. So,
Okay.
but I'll defend them here. It's the PPAI 100, so
It
they can
is,
do
yeah.
whatever they want.
Yeah, fair.
I don't. Again, if you're using revenue as any part of this list, it renders the entire thing moot because that will be the key indicator. I'm sorry, Halo's the biggest company in the industry. I have a lot of friends who work at Halo. You used to work at Halo
Yeah, great.
as did
Yeah.
I would not say that they're pushing this industry forward, that they're not, they're a top company, but I don't know if they're number 1 or number 5 or number 10 based on all those factors. And I don't know who is the authority that does this. Again, the smacks of best burger in Vegas type crap that I always bitch about. Who is the governing body here?
Yeah.
So I'd like to see who the panel is, and I don't think we'll ever see who the panel is. I'd
That's
like to
fine.
see.
That's but this is just fun to debate for me. So I hope you know that that I say this with love, but you're contradicting yourself a little because
Of
you
course
just
I am.
said that you like lists that are quantifiable, but now you don't want revenue to be a part of it. Well, revenue is the one thing that is quantifiable.
Let me quit. I like if it was a revenue list, like the ASI top 40 and top 40 distributor and suppliers, that's a revenue list. I've got no issue with that. That makes sense to me. Of course you should rank them. That's for lack of a better term, wins and losses, right?
Right?
It's
It is what
ranking a
it
bunch
is.
of teams in baseball or whatever. What I don't like about having this hybrid is you're introducing all of these variables from a panel, and I'm sure they're all qualified. I'm sure they're all wonderful, but it just smacks of who cares? Who cares? I mean, again, I understand. I know you do. I know media's job is not to report facts anymore, and I'm not suggesting that they do. But if they're going to promote it before I see it, then I get to talk about it before I see it.
Okay.
And I mean, I'm fired up. I'm not so much fired up about it. It's like, gosh, do we need another weird list?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I could say the same thing about the online 18. I've been on the online 18 every year, so have you. There are times I'm like, I don't understand this ranking at all based on what I see people do. And
Yeah.
so it's just weird discussion points, and I just don't love where we're at as a society
Mhm.
or as an industry that we perpetuate the need for these lists personally.
Yeah.
Let's rank people, again, I don't mind lists that aren't ranked when they're subjective.
Mhm.
So people who are mavericks, top women in the industry, hell, we do a list like that. But again, they're
Mhm.
not ranked. They're
Sure.
not ranked because it's our opinion. And
Mhm.
when you're introducing opinion into it, ranking it is wrong in my thought process.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, again, obviously, I think we are on the opposite ends of this thing, and I'm excited to have the conversation once the list is out.
I look forward to that. Well, Kirby, I'm pretty amped up.
Yeah.
I don't think I can amp up this podcast anymore, but I'm going to anyway. That's right.
Yes.
Hey, distributors, question for you. Is your marketing working? If it is, you might be part of the PPAI 100. Who knows? But if it's not, if you can't answer that question with a definitive hell yes, then you need to reach out to our pals over at Promo Pulse. They can help you consistently amplify your sales through stunningly beautiful outbound marketing that's so easy for you to use. You customize it, you set it, and then you forget about it in just 5 minutes. That's right, just 5 minutes. So learn more at promopulse.io/amp. You're not going to be sorry you did. Kirby, talk me off the ledge. Give me a topic that I'm not going to yell about.
Okay, so I don't know that this will be this, but you know how
Uh-oh.
some like your wife and my wife probably both say that we like to hear the sound of our own voice.
I would say that's been said daily for the past 30 years.
Well, Apple is going to help us, right? So there's a new feature debuting in the Apple devices that will allow you to create a digital version of your own voice to speak with anyone you'd like. So personal voice is one of several forthcoming accessibility features that Apple unveiled yesterday. It's meant to aid people with conditions such as ALS that put them at risk of losing their ability to speak. But essentially, it will allow you to spend 15 minutes reading text prompts into the iPhone or iPad, and their digital voice will be ready to go. So I thought this was really interesting, and I'm curious to know if essentially on every road trip, you're going to put your voice on yours and Sandy's phones to give directions, or how you are going to implement the use of your own digital voice.
I did see this float across the transom,
Yeah.
and I kind of made a mental note of it and moved on. It was in the middle of other things. I don't know how I feel about this. Again, we're getting to a point where AI, and this isn't AI enabled, artificial
Sure.
intelligence enabled technology or driven technology. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I think we're very close to where you're going to see a lot of those deep fakes, and
Mhm.
this is what the president said, and because it sounds like him, and all
Yeah.
that. I worry about that stuff. I don't think I'll use it because I don't want. I mean, I'm sure Siri is listening all the time, is Alexa's listening all the time, but I don't think I'll use it. I don't see a real need for me to hear my own voice like that. I can pop on 149 other episodes of this podcast and do that, and I sure as hell don't need I don't need a special thing through accessibility on my iPhone to do that. But I don't understand why anybody would want this. I think it's cool. Don't get me wrong. I think it's cool that a machine can learn your voice and replicate it. We'll see. I mean, your mileage may vary, but I don't see a real use for it in my own life. And I'm struggling to see what the point is. And maybe I'm being obtuse. So perhaps you can enlighten me, Kirby.
No, again, I think that all the stuff you brought up are things that I considered. And I think despite the joke that we like to hear our own voice, I think that's actually
Yeah.
something that most people struggle with.
Yeah.
That I don't actually like to go back and listen to episodes and hear,
No.
my goofy ass laugh or whatever. And so I don't know that that is something. I think that what they're saying is that it will help people who are losing their ability to speak, and that's how there'll be some functionality with it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
if I could allow that to be created and I could put that on my wife's phone, I could see where that
Yeah.
would be worth a gag.
Yeah.
But
For the
other than that,
giggle, sure.
yeah, I'm probably not going to utilize it as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, because I don't want my phone to have the ability to talk to me in the middle of the night and tell me things into
Mm-mm.
my subconscious with my own voice, because I'm very trainable,
It's
and I
yeah,
don't
it's
want
just it
to go down the wrong path.
it's weird. I mean, when you first start hearing recordings of your own voice, whatever age you're at, it always sounds weird because your voice sounds different in your head
Yeah,
as you speak than it does when you listen to it. I've heard my voice so much by listening to podcasts, like,
sure.
oh, I screwed up there, or somebody got upset. What did I say? That type of stuff. I can't distinguish the sound here and the sound in my ear any longer. So it
Yeah,
doesn't bother me to hear my own voice, but I sure as hell don't seek it out. And
right.
apparently nobody else does either. So there's that. All right, Kirby. Good topic. Good topic. Kirby, I know you pretty well, and I know how much you love tacos. Did you know, Kirby, there's a battle over Taco Tuesday?
I have read the
Yeah, that's
headlines. Yeah.
okay. So Taco Bell wants to liberate the Taco Tuesday, a trademark from a smaller rival chain in Taco John's. That's right. It's been owned by Taco John's for 34 years since 1989. And Taco Bell has filed a petition to cancel the trademark. The petition claims, Kirby, that, quote, it should be freely available to all who make, sell, eat, and celebrate tacos. They added, nobody should have exclusive rights to a common phrase, I think they said, but it's pronounced phrase, even though they said phrase. Because most attorneys actually feel like they have a strong case because Taco Tuesday has become a commonly used phrase or phrase. Taco Tuesday was coined by Taco John's to increase sales for a 99-cent deal for 2 tacos on what they deemed the slowest day of the week. It was actually spelled Taco TWOSDAY, Taco Tuesday. They tweak it to Taco Tuesday, and it was trademarked in 1989 as and been part of their marketing since then. So Taco John's has asserted the trademark, has asserted that they own the trademark against a lot of companies
A
over the
lot of
years.
companies, I've heard that. Yeah.
And they responded, we would like to thank our worthy competitors at Taco Bell for reminding everyone Taco Tuesday is best celebrated at Taco John's, the trademark owner of Taco Tuesday. So, Kirby, I got a question for you. Is it worth Taco Bell fighting this from a branding perspective?
Yeah, I think it is. And not because I think that it's a, let me kind of clarify. I think it's
Yep.
stupid. But this reeks of a larger organization throwing their weight around
Yeah.
by burying a smaller company in litigation.
Right.
Do I think it's good business practice? I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
But is it worth it? Probably, because they're gonna it and because the term is just so ubiquitous.
Yeah.
I have heard that Taco John's has kind of gone after not just Taco Bell, but lots of
No, they've
other
gone after a lot of
organizations.
taco. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of Mexican restaurant chains. Yeah.
And of course, I don't know all the ins and outs of that, but if they're being goofy about it, I think that, you know, they might have
Yeah.
other support in the taco
Right.
world. So,
Well,
you know, maybe they come
yeah.
after us for saying Taco Tuesdays on this
I
podcast.
don't.
Taco Tuesdays.
I don't know if we went 3 awards in a row. Can we say three-peat? I mean, that was trademarked by Pat Riley when he coached the Lakers, right?
Yeah.
So I looked at it a different way. Taco Bell, I think it's more of a publicity stunt than anything.
Yeah.
I think Taco John's has a really unique opportunity here to not fight it and to like make a big deal about we are releasing this for everybody to use,
Yeah.
and
Because
they
they
come
are
out the
anyway.
winner.
That's a
Right, they're going to
great,
lose.
yeah, it's a great idea. Actually, I like this.
Yeah. So you, instead of saying, oh, we're going to fight this, we're going to fight you, we're going to fight you in court, we're going to double fight you, and then after we double fight you, we're going to triple fight you. No,
because
just have a
nobody's
big
allowed to say
thing,
Tuesday.
have a big announcement, have the CEO stand up there, rip up their trademark paperwork in front of the camera and say, you know what? Taco Tuesday is for everybody. Of course, we hope you celebrate Taco Tuesday every week at Taco John's. But wherever you celebrate it, just make sure you celebrate. I think you miss a really good opportunity for some great publicity, great press, and kind of thumbing at the nose, because you could say things like, you know, unfortunately, we've been forced to do this, but you know what? The more we thought about it, the more we wanted to give tacos back to the people. You can have so much fun with this.
Yeah.
So it's not only is it not worth Taco Bell going after, in my opinion,
Yeah.
it's not worth Taco John's to fight. I think you really miss an opportunity to come out on the good side of this.
Okay, I really like that idea. For what it's worth, that's the best idea you've had in a quick minute. Like, that's really good.
It happens occasionally. All right, Kirby. Do you have another topic about lists you'd like to talk about?
I've got one quick topic.
Okay.
Tesla. Tesla is going to begin advertising.
Okay.
I thought this was kind of interesting. They've shunned marketing spend for much of its existence, but now the automaker is going to join in. So they're going to start as Elon Musk. We're going to try a little advertising and see how it goes, he said.
Okay.
Musk also teased 2 new vehicles in an interview. And so I was really interested because I think that obviously automakers are some of the biggest advertising. And when I think of this, I'm thinking specifically of television. That's just whenever I think of Ford and Dodge and Toyota and all those places, I see commercials, right? So I'm in my mind, what I was thinking is all of a sudden you're going to start seeing Tesla ads on TV. They didn't specifically say that, but that's what I'm envisioning. So I want to get your opinion on whether or not you think this is a good idea. Just to say it, I'm actually really curious to see what a marketing team would come up with at Tesla to stand out. If you're going to do this, the idea, I would think you want to stand out differently, but I'd be curious to know your take.
Kirby, haven't watched a commercial on television in years unless it's a Super Bowl, so I don't care.
Right.
I mean, fine, great, super, whatever. I'm so over Elon Musk. I'm so over anything Elon Musk touches, whether it's Twitter, SpaceX, Tesla. I don't care. So super, you're going to have advertising. Great. Awesome. Why not focus some money on the infrastructure and help get that built so people can actually use electric cars and not have to charge them all the time? I don't care. I mean, I'm interested to see what they are from that perspective that you said, of course. But overall, I don't care because again, I don't see, unless I see it online, I don't see a lot of advertising or if it's a Super Bowl.
So I'm the conspiracy theorist in me, and I'm not one at all. But it makes me wonder now that he's named a new CEO at Twitter, if they're going to try a little advertising, means they're going to start advertising on Twitter.
Probably. I think there's something to that. Look, I never understood why they didn't advertise to begin with anyway. And I mean, I think mainly because there was so much demand and they could not even keep up with demand.
Right.
I don't know what that looks like now in terms of supply and demand. I have no clue what it looks like for Tesla. So, I mean, super advertise. Super.
Cool. All right, man.
That's awesome. I could not be more nonplussed about
anything with Musk.
Specific anything with Musk. Unless you're talking about a nice cologne, then must get on up. But hey, kids, that's not what we're going to talk about. We want to thank our sponsor today in 7 Sourcing. As a distributor, you've got an opportunity to take things off the shelf and give them to your clients, or you got an opportunity if you work with a company like 7 Sourcing to create things that are absolutely off the wall and get those wow and aha moments we all want from our clients. They really understand product sourcing from an international perspective. They demystify that custom direct sourcing. And while they source merchandise at the lowest possible cost, of course they do that, they will not sacrifice quality or safety to meet price points. And that's a very important thing. Anybody who's done their own direct importing, you are one oily rag stuffed in a teddy bear away from a hell of a lawsuit and being out of business. 7 Sourcing is going to protect you from anything like that because they understand how direct importing works, and they will work with you on brand strategy, brand management, product development, the sourcing, the quality control, compliance, and all the logistics. So if you want to wow your clients, you want to get those aha moments, and of course you do, email them at sales@7sourcing.com. You're not going to be sorry you did, Kirby. I want to thank you for having the courage to do this podcast with me, and I can't wait to talk more lists next week.